Welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by GulfCoast Financial Services founder and CEO, John Kuykendall. John and his team of financial, legal, and tax professionals have been providing North Florida savers and investors sound, comprehensive financial guidance for over 30 years, helping you to achieve important life and planning goals. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net.
And welcome into the program. This is Financial Focus, brought to you by the best of the best in financial services, as named by the readers of the Lake City Reporter, 7 years and running. The team from GulfCoast Financial Services celebrating their 30th year in the business, helping proactive savers and investors work toward and achieve their financial and retirement goals. Founder and CEO, John Kuykendall, here with us. And John, it is always a pleasure to have you along, providing the guidance that savers and investors need.
Well, thank you, Peter. It's great to be here. I hope that the listeners out there really enjoy today's show. I think it's got some great material for them, especially as we enter into retirement. More and more people, the number one concern is running out of money.
Yeah, and unfortunately, John, in retirement, we are going to face some pretty large expenses that can exacerbate that fear or, unfortunately, make it close to a reality. And I don't know if we run out of money or just significantly adjust lifestyles if we are unfortunately facing that reality. But having a plan in place that will specifically address several of our largest expenses in retirement is obviously going to be beneficial for us at the outset, at the onset of retirement. And so you've got this report of the 3 biggest expenses in retirement and how to plan to control them. And then, of course, as the follow-up for that and the real value, you and your team there at GulfCoast Financial Services will help people construct a specific written retirement income that addresses these and more of those expenses we'll face in retirement.
That's right, Peter. And that income plan is so important. I mean, people just don't realize how complicated and how complex the problems are in retirement. We seem to have this dream in America that, when we reach 65 or whenever we decide we want to retire, that all of a sudden magically everything goes away and we live this blissful life. But, because of longevity, we're living longer. We need our money longer. And the big thing that a lot of people don't understand is that in retirement, I'm paying myself. So all that money that I saved, hopefully all that money I saved, now I'm having to use that to live. And, it was kind of like the analogy we talk about with the Halloween candy. I don't want to be so stingy in my early years when I'm really could enjoy going places and doing things that I don't spend my money. And then later on, I find out I really got too much. But on the other hand, I can't, foolishly spend all of it up front and then expect that the government's going to take care of me in the end, because it's not going to be that way.
Yeah, we have this idea, this envisionment of retirement, that the work is the hard part and then retirement should be easy. And when we get to retirement, figuring out how to make that money last, we really find out that working for the paycheck was kind of the easy part in many ways. But John, as you have talked about and emphasized on this program, having that written plan will help us keep within guidelines and make sure that we are generating enough income, not too much, not too little, kind of the Goldilocks scenario, just the right amount, just enough to where we are spending and enjoying ourselves where possible, but also not risking running out of money into our future.
Well, that's right. And, right now, I think it was the survey the other day was 25% of the people thinking they were going to retire have actually postponed it because of rising cost, rising inflation, and the fact that they don't feel comfortable with the amount of money they've saved. The income plan will help us with that and tell us where we are, show us how much we need, and we can prepare for retirement. But the biggest thing people think, and we said this over and over again, and we drilled it into people's mind, that taxes are going to be cheaper in retirement than they are now. And so that's number one on our list. We know now that taxes aren't going to be cheaper. I mean, taxes are going up. We are the lowest rate in history with taxes, and to fund our government and fund all the money that we put out for COVID. Somebody's got to pay that back, and we're going to pay it back in higher taxes. Not only that, but if you think about the cost of as wages go up, that creates more expense for our local governments and our county governments, and they have to get their money somewhere, so they're still going to tax us. You know, I tell a lot of people when they come in and they say, well, I got my house paid for, I don't need to worry about anything, I'm okay. Well, you're okay as long as you can continue to pay the real estate taxes and you can continue to pay for utilities and all the upkeep on the house. But just because your house is paid for isn't the safety net that we feel like it is.
Yeah, indeed. We need to understand that taxes are likely, especially with the way that the majority of this generation has saved the majority of their money, that taxes are likely our largest known expense in retirement from those tax deferred accounts, which also can make Social Security a taxable source of income. So we've got to plan proactively and address taxation in retirement. John, again, that's part of the income planning process, identifying this largest known expense, quantifying it, and then identifying strategies for how to control and minimize it.
That's right, Peter. We have the software here now available to us that we can take your tax return. We can run it through our software. We can estimate how much you're going to be paying. We can keep you from bumping up to the next level. We can keep you from having that extra cost on your Social Security and also the extra cost on your Medicare if you make too much money. So a lot of things are indexed for income, and we can help you with that. And we have ways to help you minimize your taxes. We're never going to, taxes and death are the two things that we're always going to have.
But we don't want to be taxed to death.
No, that's true. What we need to do is make sure that we're being as efficient as we can with our taxes, and the income plan and the software that we have available to us now will help us do that.
If you'd like to crunch those numbers, quantify what the likely tax liability is on your retirement nest egg, and then identify strategies to control that, that's part of the complimentary planning review and strategy session that is offered to you at GulfCoast Financial Services just for being a listener to this program. Pick up the phone, give them a call, 386-755-9018. That's 386-755-9018. And just request that time, or even just ask a few questions about your situation, or request this list so that you know these three largest expenses and the beginnings of the discussions for how to plan to control them. John, number 2 on the list, the largest potential expense. Now, it's not a certainty, but we all certainly will have some elements of this in our retirement: healthcare expenses. And the fact that it's not a certainty, that so much is up in the air, is one of the biggest reasons we need to address this proactively.
Well, that's right, Peter. As we live longer and we have better medical care, it also costs more for health care. And the one thing that always surprises me is when people, we start doing the retirement planning process, and they think that Medicare is free. Medicare is not free. We're going to pay for Medicare, and depending upon what Medicare plan you have, there are deductibles and copays. We don't have dental. We don't have vision in most cases. And, we don't have any long-term care. So our health care cost for a couple could be as much as $400,000 over their lifetime after retirement. But health care costs for long-term care can be as much as $7,000 to $12,000 a month, depending upon where you live and how soon, when we need it. Healthcare cost is going up. It has to, because everything else is going up. Healthcare cost will go with it. Also, even though we have prescription drugs, we still have to pay a copay. And so a lot of times, depending upon what medicine you're on, drugs could be a potentially large cost to your retirement, because, like I said, we don't have that $5 per drug plan you had when you were working for the corporation. Now the drug plan you have is a drug plan, but it also has copays and high deductibles. So we have to do a better job of planning this. We can help you with that. We can help you with your Medicare. We can explain the cost and what's associated with it. We can explain we can take the mystery out of signing up for Medicare. Medicare is so complicated that a lot of people make the wrong decisions. And I think we talked about this on a show not too long ago, that just because Joe Namath is on TV pitching a plan doesn't mean that it's the right plan for you. And I guarantee you it's probably not the plan that he's got. But, we need to make right choices, and maybe that plan is the one. But we need to know that. We need to think it forward.
Again, we've got to plan proactively for what could be the largest potential expense. A certain portion of this is known, the premiums for Medicare, for prescription drugs, the cost of those drugs, the routine visits, the copays, the deductibles. That part is probably going to be a more known than unknown element. But the potential cost of care, John, that's really a scary element. And I know you've got some tools and calculators that can show people and project out what those potential costs are or may be into the future. If we're healthy and 65, what it might be once we get to 75 or 85. In all likelihood, these are significant expenses. And especially in the case of a married couple, John, I know you and your team take some time and plan pretty carefully for these.
Well, we do, Peter. And if you look at this cost of Medicare, our medical cost in Gainesville, it's very significant. $1,400 a day for adult health care. In 2031, it's, it almost doubles, $2,285. So healthcare is going to be going up while you're retired. And we have these calculators. We have these things that we can help you with, and we can show you what the costs are. It's not free, but it's good. I mean, I just wrote my premium just this afternoon. $258 a month is what my Medicare supplement costs. On top of that, I have a drug card, but that's $258 just for me. I also have to pay for my wife, and I have to pay for her drug plan. So, it can be as much as $700 to $1,000 a month for two during retirement, but you have good medical care right now, and everything is good depending upon what you want to sign up with and what you can afford. We can work with you on that and help you through it.
Not free, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to have careful planning for care expenses. There are several options here. So you've got to weigh the benefits and the disadvantages of the approach that you choose to take for protecting yourself, your spouse, and your loved ones very carefully, and talk it through with an experienced, qualified professional. That's what John and the team there at GulfCoast Financial Services are there for, to help you with those important financial considerations and to put a plan together that is best suited to achieve your specific goals. Give them a call, 386-755-9018, if you'd like to have those conversations or for a comprehensive planning review. John, the final one on this list, the 3 largest expenses in retirement, how to plan to control them. On the report here, you call it the silent thief. I think it's been anything but silent over the course of this last year or two. Inflation is a factor that we absolutely cannot ignore. Sometimes it barks very loudly.
Well, that's right, Peter. And right now we're hearing about it. It's barking loud. Inflation is running as much as 8 to 10% right now as we're trying to get inflation under control. But, historically, for the last 30 years, inflation has been 3.8%. Now, that was almost as much as homes were going up in Miami over the last 20 years. So, it's a huge killer. I mean, it does take more money going forward. If you're planning on retiring at $5,000 a month right now or $60,000 a year, in 10 years, that $60,000 is not going to buy the same amount of goods. So we have to use a number to calculate. And when we do the income plan, we figure that out. We will show you how much it's going to cost you as you continue to in age. And also, we will show you how we can cover that. And hopefully, as we like to say, take the red out so that all of our dreams can be had and we can handle that retirement plan really well. But, one of the things, going back to healthcare just a second, Peter, I just thought of this. One of the things that we haven't considered in healthcare is the shortage of labor. So, right now we have a critical shortage in nurses and care providers, even family doctors. And so as we age, that's going to continue to compound. And so we're going to be paying more to get those people in those fields, and that's going to cost us even more in healthcare. So that we need to think about that. That's something that a lot of people don't talk about, but just to find people that are going to provide the care for us as we age, we're going to have to pay more. It's going to cost us more. And so that's part of inflation also. But inflation right now, it's, historically, it won't stay this way. But right now, it is causing havoc as we get to that $5 gas in Florida. And everything costs more. My son went to a little barbecue place here in town, and we used to get this thing called the working man's combo. And it was $6.56 for a sandwich, fries, and a drink. This week, our last Wednesday, he paid $13.50 for the same combo.
Wow. And it's John, not just the same things that we are buying that get more expensive over time. But I think back like 20 and 25 years ago, we did not have to pay for the internet service that we all count and rely on today. We did not have the cell phone bill that we all include as part of our routine expenses, the different subscriptions that we have. So it's not just the existing things get more expensive, it's the additional items that somehow get wrapped into our expenses that also compound on this inflation issue.
Well, that's right, Peter. I mean, if you think of what we have to have today to survive, streaming channels, internet, Amazon Prime, all the things we have to have that 20 years ago we didn't have. It's amazing to think how, you can cut some of that out, but a lot of it you can't cut out. And so cost of living is just a lot higher today than it was a long time ago. I can remember in 1955, a mid-size Chevy was $2,500 brand new. Now, go down and buy one now if you can find one, and how much does it cost? So things continue to go up. It's amazing how much everything costs. I know in 1978, I bought a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house and paid $45,000 for it. It was brand new. I mean, now we're paying $3 and $4 and $500,000.
You can't even buy the truck.
It's ridiculous.
For the cost that you paid for the car.
No,
or I mean the house.
Right.
You can't buy the truck for the price of the house these days. Yeah.
No, that's right. My pickup truck cost a lot more than $45,000. And it's just that way. Things, because of COVID, things are tight, supply is tight. Dealers are charging more for their vehicles, adding what they call this market value adjustment now to vehicles we're trying to buy. So everything is costing more. That's going to continue into retirement. And even if we get settled down and we get inflation under control, and we did in the 80s, and we'll do it again, inflation is still going to be a silent killer, and because of our longevity.
Well, John, you've talked about the income plan, the importance of the value of the confidence that is instilled by the income plan. Part of what you have talked about in that income planning process is specific pieces of it need to increase in the amount of income they can generate, or you add additional layers periodically to increase the amount of income that you can generate and count and rely on throughout retirement. That's the way to plan in advance and proactively for the potential impacts of inflation.
Well, that's right, Peter. We take a look at how much you're going to need, what the shortfall is, and then we figure out ways to take money out of the buckets that you have so that it maximizes what you have and will give you the income you need during retirement. And if we're not there, there's no better time than to figure this out before you retire, so we can try to get ready for that. But like I said, we also help you with the Medicare, Social Security, taxes. All of that's included in the income plan. And it's something I think that anybody could use and continue to use during retirement.
Well, if you would like this report on the 3 biggest expenses in retirement, how to plan to control them, or if you would like to sit down with John and the team from GulfCoast Financial Services and specifically design your written retirement income plan, pick up the phone, give a call, 386-755-9018. That is 386-755-9018. John, always appreciate the guidance and information, the perspective that you provide here on Financial Focus.
Thank you, Peter. It was great being here. Have a good week.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through GulfCoast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. GulfCoast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.